Hey guys, it's Miss Mueller, and here is a video to help you guide you through your post assessment for the Renaissance unit. A couple weeks ago, maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I asked you this question: how does this plant metaphor represent the Renaissance? And you saw this picture, and you probably had a very vague answer that you were maybe a little unsure about. But that's okay because that's always how you feel when you do a pre assessment. So, this is a pretty blank picture. And I said, how does this plant represent the Renaissance? And you gave it a shot. Good job. Now, I'm going to walk you through the different parts of the unit that represent these white boxes because we've learned all these things before. And I just am going to describe them again to make sure your brain has connected that lesson to that part of this metaphor, because that'll help you to connect your words later on when I ask you that question again. So here we go. First, we got that this entire thing has to do with Europe because it is called the European Renaissance, and it's just kind of telling you where. Okay. The next part right here is classical. Now, if you saw the plant as a timeline, kind of, the bottom, the beginning is classical. The middle is medieval. And then this is the Renaissance after. Okay, so first it's classical, then medieval, then Renaissance. Remember that the Renaissance was a rebirth of these classical ideas, the Greek and the Roman ideas, and that you can also say that its roots, literally the roots of the plant, but also the roots of the Renaissance are in classical and medieval culture. And this medieval stuff, this is what we studied a long time ago. This year, Europe went through the Dark Ages. So we got classical, got medieval. Notice they are underneath the dirt. They're before the Light Ages, right? Just note. Okay. Let's keep going. Next, we got commerce and trade. Europe and Asia were connected by trade again. And we talked about the different ways that Europe was bringing it back after the Dark Ages. But we're also talking about the growth of city-states. And some of those city-states that were growing rich from trade, like Venice, Genoa, Naples, Florence. I don't think I can name them all off the top of my head right this second. But all of those different city-states were growing rich from trade because they were trading again. In the Dark Ages, they were bartering. Now they're trading again. And they're trading because they're connected to Asia and Africa. That whole Afro-Eurasia is reconnected again because Europe's bringing it back. Africa and Asia were connected during the Dark Ages, but now we're just bringing the Eur part back, okay? So this, in terms of the plant, the commerce and trade is like the water helping to grow, and the growth of city-states, this kind of looks like seed or maybe fertilizer that's helping this plant to grow. Next, we have the sun, is humanism. Humanism is one of those things we talked about with art, with linear perspective, realism, humanism, all help to make art look more realistic. And that was very revolutionary in Europe at the time, because before that, remember that medieval art? It was all like flat, looked kind of bleh. They needed this humanism. They needed the sun to help them to grow. Okay? Next, we got art and literature. We talked about this for a long time. Mostly we talked about art, but we talked a little bit about literature. The art was different and new and deeper and cooler than what had been in the medieval time. Remember, they're bringing it back to classical cool art, bringing it back right here. Da Vinci, Michelangelo, other artists created this beautiful art, and we were analyzing it, and you guys were really good at that. The literature part I don't know if we talked about Cervantes this year. He is one of the people in the Renaissance Ball, though, so maybe we'll see more from him. But we definitely talked about Shakespeare writing new types of literature and using new words in their own vernacular. New things in art and literature were part of the plant that is flowering or flourishing or growing towards the sun of humanism. So, I know that when you looked at this the first time, you thought, what the heck does Mueller want from me? I don't understand this plant. But I'm hoping, now that you know each of the parts, because we've been studying this for a while, I think that you can answer this question a little bit better this time. How does this plant metaphor represent the Renaissance? Take a crack at it. Can't go wrong unless you just don't do it, right? So, give it a try. I know you can do it. And good luck.